Did you miss me? Today we're gonna talk about calmness. How to remain unbothered. How I remain my calm. I don't. See you next week. Just kidding. It was a joke of my boyfriend. So we're sitting together and he was like, oh, so what's the YouTube video you want to do today? And I was like, how I stay calm. And he was like, you don't. And we thought it's funny. Okay, let me get to it. I prepared some notes. How I remain calm. I thought about saying something like how to remain calm as a passionate person. Because I'm very passionate and I have a lot of energy, you know? So even though I'm a passionate person, I would say that my base, my 98% of my life, I'm very peaceful and calm. Even though sometimes I'm passionate about something, overall I'm a very chill person and I don't pay attention to a lot of things that are really annoying, and I really notice it when I'm around other people and I see how they get stressed out by minor things. Even Jürgen, who's the most chill person that I know, but even him, sometimes I'm like, oh Jürgen, are you on your period? Clearly people without a period can also become very reactive. And yeah, I just wanna tell you what helps me to remain calm and unbothered. You know, overall, there is really not a lot that can make me lose my calm. If I lose my calm more easily, it's because I haven't slept enough, sleep is my #1 thing, or I'm hangry, I haven't eaten. But once these two are fixed, once I get enough sleep and I get my food, there is not a lot that can really bother me. And here are my tips and tricks to stay as unbothered as possible. First of all, know what's worthy. I think that if you know what's valuable in life to you, you know where you spend your energy. I'm talking about, family, friends, nature, your work, whatever really means something to you, that's where I think it's worth investing energy. As I mentioned earlier, I noticed that people get really upset about minor things, and I always ask myself, when I travel and something annoying happens, or when I deal with somebody who's really annoying, and of course I could react. You can react to everything. You can react your entire life. I always ask myself, is it worth my energy? For example, yesterday we were standing in line at the airport for a really long time, even though we didn't have luggage, but we had to pick up our ticket, and it was a really long wait. And then there were two people who skipped the line and came in front of us, and it sucks, that was rude, you shouldn't do that. The person next to me got very angry, for a good reason, because you shouldn't skip the line, especially not if it's a very long line. But I was so unbothered, and I really realized, if you really learn to listen to your body and you can feel the way you could get upset about something like this, or you just don't care. And I decided to not care because it was not worth my energy. And that's part of me setting boundaries. I have very strong boundaries. I protect my energy. My energy is everything. And when things happen that are really annoying because people are rude or whatever, it's not always worth to fight. I always say, pick your fights. Choose your fights. Choose what's worth to invest negative energy in. Because the thing is, you think you are stronger by attacking the other person, but in reality, or not just attacking the other person, but also by reacting to the other person, but in reality, you are hurting yourself because you get on this negative vibrational field. You always have to ask yourself, is it worth to raise my vibration to a negative frequency? And most of the time, no. 2 weeks ago I was in Berlin and I got out of a car, but I was in the street, so I hurried, but I had Rue on my lap. So I took my puppy, I took her out, and then I dropped the leash, so I picked it up again, and it was a matter of literally 5 seconds. It was really so quick, and really it's not even worth talking about. But then a woman drove by and she yelled at me what the fuck, move out of the way, watch out. She was so angry. And I had a choice. because you always have a choice in reacting. You can either react back and be like, what the fuck, you angry woman? Or you protect yourself. And I took the conscious decision, this is my boundary. Like, I'm not reacting to your hurt, you know? Like, this woman was clearly hurt. Not by me, I know that. Like, it's not normal to lose your shit because somebody takes 5 seconds to, you know, get out of a car. Like, she is a hurt woman and I cannot take her hurt onto me. You know, does that make sense? I was so shook and also hurt, you know, like, this really hurts you, but then you just let it go and done. Like, this is the first time I actually think about the situation again. I didn't react to it because, like, I cannot be bothered and my energy is too valuable to get on that level. I feel like you can only get to this place if you know what's worth to you. Like, if you know these things are important to me and the others are not important to me, you will not argue with strangers. And you will also protect your energy because you save your energy for the good things in life. And you know, I'm not saying that if you have an argument with your parents or like something at work, you know, it's okay to occasionally not be calm, because avoiding stress at all costs creates stress. I think there's no way we can avoid all the stress. It's more about making the conscious decision. Is this important to me? Yes, no, and then react accordingly. Okay, number 2. What did I write? Get perspective. So it's really interesting to look from the outside in. How does the brain work? I think it's very fascinating that one day we can be obsessed with like one thing. You're so obsessed with like this one thing. Like, let's name an example. Like, one day I can be obsessed about a tire. Like, how do I make a tire better? How can I change this? Like, what's the next step? Like, all I think about is this one thing. And I don't have space for anything else in my head. While this is good, it's very important to always see the big picture and also step away. There's this saying, and I read it in a kid's book when I was 13. That was literally 17 years ago. And I still remember it because it was a kid's book, but one of the sentences in this book was, distance creates clarity. And it's been in my head since then. And it's so true, because if you step away from something, you create a distance, you see it from the outside, you realize that things are not always what we think they are. We can be obsessed with one thing and it fills out our entire head, but it's not the only thing that exists. And even though tire is so important to me, it's not the only thing that exists. That's just like one random example, you know, you can use this for anything in life that would like bother you. Let's say your friend is late and she always comes late and you're really annoyed because what the fuck, it's your time. Like it's not good for her to treat your time like this, right? If you step back and get perspective, you realize, okay, maybe she's like 20 minutes late, but in those 20 minutes I can do these things and that, and I can actually use my time for something else. Or you say, oh my god, she's always late, but when you step back and take perspective, you realize maybe she's not always late. You know, you actually pay attention to the times when she's late, that you forget the times when she wasn't late. Or you realize, okay, maybe she is struggling with something and that's why she can't manage her time well, because people who are organized manage their time well. My point is that sometimes a lot of things seem really important to us and really annoying, but then when you get perspective, you realize, hey, it's not that important. And also, you know, I always ask myself, so when I get a mean comment or DM, you know, in those past 6 years that I've been doing social media, I don't remember a single, not one, and I swear, like I don't remember a single hateful DM or comment that I received, because I don't save it in my head because it's not relevant. You know, like I'm sure somebody once said, I don't know, you look ugly or whatever, like I don't know, I just made it up because I seriously don't remember, but I'm pretty sure somebody said it. Your voice is so annoying. I don't know. Nobody said that ever. Just kidding. Okay, let's say you are ugly. I don't remember that. When you get it, you have to ask yourself, will this matter in a year? It's not even going to matter in 2 weeks. Like a lot of things are seriously not going to matter And that's why I never really get upset about things. Or it's really hard for other things to bother me because I always ask myself, will this matter in a year? In a year, I mean, think about where we were a year ago and where we are now and where we're going to be in a year. Like, this is so such a like stretch, you know what I mean? And that's why I can't be bothered. Always get perspective with time. Distance creates clarity. You know, even with the tire, I was so worried. It was really tough for us to like keep going. I talked about it in my other video. And then I asked myself, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, a tire goes bankrupt, I lose my team, I lose the brand, I lose my investment, but I'm still a healthy human being and I still have a healthy mind and brain. I will create something new. You know, like if you get perspective, some things that seem to be the end of the world, they're not. Number 3, make sure that your base is good. By base, I mean, did you get enough sleep? Did you take care of yourself? Did you eat? It's really worth to get to know yourself and really know what in life makes you more reactive. And as I mentioned earlier, for me, my number one thing that makes me the most reactive or that makes me being bothered by other things, it's really when I don't get enough sleep. Like, that's as easy as it is. But even now, like I got so good because of meditation, which is part of my, you know, self-care routine. Meditating, journaling. Even when I don't sleep enough, I'm really chill. But overall, you know, pay attention that you prioritize yourself. And that's something I still struggle with because it's easy to not prioritize yourself and be like, oh, but I promised to attend her thing and I promised to meet her for dinner. Da, 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 da. There's always something to do and you just need to pay attention. You cannot be serving to other people if you don't take care of yourself first. And there's always this example, if you're in a plane, they always say to take care of the oxygen mask first before you take care of others. And I think in order to be a good human being and to provide value to your surrounding, and by value I mean good energy or being kind, having a good heart, being a good listener, being of help, of service to others, you must take care of yourself first. And that's key. Prioritize yourself and your well-being. Create good daily habits that help you to stay balanced throughout the day. And you know, something that helps me to stay balanced throughout the day, even before meditating, my number one thing is journaling, because journaling really puts things in perspective. And like I mentioned earlier, you know, once you are so occupied, that was the word I was looking for. Just find little daily rituals that you can do. Maybe you write a few notes on a paper, maybe you have a reminder on your phone with like a question, for example, what are you grateful for? Something that balances you back, you know, so your head is not all over the place. Maybe it's like tea time at 5 p.m. and like no matter what, you will sit down without your phone, without distractions. You just sit down with a cup of tea and you really look within. I think little small habits are so important to staying focused and balanced. That doesn't mean that you should always be calm, and that also doesn't mean that once you actually pay attention to these things and you implement them in your life, you're like, oh my god, nothing will ever bother me. No, I mean, you have to be realistic. There's always something annoying. It's more like when you have the chance, you can make a conscious decision to not react and to prioritize yourself. All right, my friends, stay healthy, happy, and fabulous. See you soon. Bye. I don't even know why I walk away. It's just a silly little habit from TikTok. See you.